It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing? Cough, 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 cough.
Right. Squeak, squeak.
Doing ducky.
Yeah.
A hoot and a half over here.
Ducky, if it's my autocorrect catching it.
So which half is it? Is it hoot or is it oot?
No. It's more than a hoot, but less than two. A hoot and a half.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So, hoot, ooh. Never mind. We'll move on. Never mind.
Yeah, please do.
Ho.
Right. The first two letters of hoot would be ho, and I don't know if we want to go there from the...
That hoot no.
Hoot ho. All right. This is a good start.
Jesus.
That is a matter of opinion, but go ahead.
We're all channeling Liz's NyQuil at this point.
Jesus has nothing to do with this place, man. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing okay out there. So what's been going on in your corner galaxy?
Don't make me laugh and I start coughing. Oh.
Okay,
Well,
the key is make her laugh. Go.
Right.
That'll shut her up.
Everybody don't be funny. Because that always works.
Man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's been freaking hell over here.
It's been downright laryngitic.
Yeah. I'm slowly starting to feel better. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of court shit. I don't even know how I fall down these rabbit holes sometimes.
Blame it on the NyQuil.
Let's go back. You said court shit?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Like actual court stuff.
Well, no, because it sounded like horse shit to me.
Right. A lot of it is, man. A lot of it is.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, some of it makes you go, oh, wow, our justice system is really working. And then other times you're like, holy shit. I fell down a rabbit hole. There's a guy on YouTube, and he has a channel called What the Hells, Hales. And he's got like a neighbor from hell. I mean, absolute neighbor from hell. Now, what it sounds like to me happened, from what I've tried to break down and gather from this, she followed him, she stalked him, and moved to this little town. And this little town they live in is a town of 100. 100. I'm not exaggerating, 100 people. Mm-hmm. So she's trying to say she didn't stalk him, but you both wound up in a town of 100. That's suspicious. But what it sounds like to me is she wanted to kind of cap on his fame, and it didn't work. And so now she's like turned into the internet troll from hell, and it's gone through courts now. And I mean, it is crazy. But the crazy part is, you listen to this girl because she also has a YouTube, and it's like psychobabble. She's pissed off at this one hates her town hates her, but then in court she's like, everybody loves me here. Okay, but I think what happened was the judge saw that this guy is a YouTuber, and he automatically assumed you're harassing her. Now, she's come into this pro se, which means she has no attorney. And the judge has basically been her attorney for her, which, of course, is illegal. If you're having a trial with no jury, you can't have a biased judge. Now, if you had a jury there, it doesn't matter what the judge thinks, But when you waive your right to a jury trial, it really is important what the judge thinks because he is your jury. And he's just made it very clear from the beginning of this that he's trash, He hasn't even presented any of his defense. He's had injunctions put down on him. He's had protection orders put down on him without even opening his mouth in court. But the crazy thing is they used to live in Florida, and I think I have this right. Or it was Ohio. They either live in Florida now and they moved from Ohio or vice versa. But where they moved from, he already has a protection order against her, which is a federal protection order, which means it doesn't matter if you're in Ohio or not. You got to stay the fuck away from this guy. And she doesn't because the laws don't apply to her. She's one of those Karens, I'm in the right, so it doesn't matter if I'm breaking the law kind of person. So the last I've heard on this, it's still ongoing, but they're trying to get the judge recused from this because he has definitely showed that he's broke laws protecting this lady. He's not abiding by the protection order. And like I said, I think a lot of this it started off with he's a YouTuber, you're trash. And he didn't like his attorney because he had a good attorney. Oh, the good attorney he had, the crazy lady told the judge that he tried to bribe her to get this case to go away. So now he can no longer be his attorney because he's a witness to this. So the guy within 24 hours had to find another lawyer to defend him. So it's all been crazy. Like I said, I don't even know how I fell down this hole, but it's been like, what the hell?
Why such a short amount of time to get a new lawyer?
Because they had to be in court the next day. So the judge excused it at one point, and they had to come back the next morning, and all this happened in between then.
Right, because the judge didn't give him time to find a new lawyer.
No.
He threw out his lawyer and said, "Figure it out."
Figure it out.
Yeah. Got to be here tomorrow. Which is sounds like part of the bullshit.
Yeah, total bullshit. Plus, the protection order he put down against him, he sealed it without giving this guy even a copy of it. So he didn't know what it said, who it was for, nothing. But even to the point now where they live across the street from each other.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So the judge made it.
Is her name Gladys?
No, it's Lynette. That's what he keeps calling her. It's Lynette, but he calls her Lynette. She's just lying, Lynette. That they live across the street from each other, and the protection order that the judge put down on him, he has to drive all the way around to the back end of his property to even access his home. Took his guns away when the protection order was placed, came in and took all of his guns and everything else away from him. So, it's been, and all of this without him presenting or defending himself once in this court. He hasn't even been able to open his mouth and show that she's lying, So it's crazy. So when I found him, I think I watched part of his court case on one of my court channels, and I went to his channel. So he's gaining views from this, but I didn't realize how far the rabbit hole went when I went over to his channel. But he's been dealing with this for over a year. So, but as this is getting crazier and crazier, and the judge is breaking laws and stuff, a lot of my other court YouTubers have picked the story up and are like running with it now because they're like, I cannot believe this judge, but he's in a town of 100. He can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants, So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, just yesterday, they put the paperwork in to have the judge recused from this, and we're still kind of waiting to hear if they're going to do that because, he can ask the judge to step down all he wants. All the judge has to say is, no, I don't feel like
Motion
it.
denied.
Yeah, And then, of course, by asking the judge to step down, you're definitely not winning any brownie points. So, but I think he's at the point. What else can he do? Exactly. That's kind of the point he's at is what else could he possibly do that he hasn't done to me already? Have me thrown in jail? He's tried, So it's, like I said, it's to me, I don't know anything about this guy. So if this is like an awful YouTuber, I'm sorry. I don't know anything about this guy outside of this court stuff, And I mean, he's got receipts. He's brought all the proof and everything else. But it really sounded like to me that she got her feelings hurt because he didn't give her any money for her turtle habitat, that she's trying to run across the street in a junkyard where she lives in a shed. Me? Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You see how I felt?
Mm-hmm. I'm starting to, yeah.
It gets like crazier and crazier and crazier. And if the judge would even pay attention just a little bit to what this lady is saying, I mean, even her opening was like 5 hours long, but you can tell it's, and I hate to say this, but it's the typical Karen stuff, Oh, he won't wave when he drives by, or, I mean, all kinds of crap. Well, at one point the judge told him, in his protection order that he couldn't talk about her. And not only could he not talk about her, he better not catch any of his viewers talking about her either. So he took away his freedom of speech because YouTube, whether people want to believe it or not, YouTube is one of the biggest news medias there is right now. I mean, CNN laugh, YouTube is where most people are tuning in for their news. So he's like, not only is he taking my freedom of speech away, he's taking your freedom of speech away because now you can't talk about her either. Now, one, you can't control the actions of others. Mm-hmm. You can't. I mean, we can't help that if we have some viewers who are listening to us right now who take maybe something I say seriously, please don't, but go out and do something stupid. I can't be blamed for that because I can't control what that person does, Now, if I say, sorry, Steve, go bomb a courthouse, then yes, you can hold me accountable for that. But if I'm just telling you, man, this courthouse is ugly, the carpet needs to be redone, and then someone goes and bombs it, I can't be held responsible for that. I didn't say anything about doing that, And he's never, of course, typical YouTube jargon, don't harass or go after anybody in these videos. And he said all of that. So how can you be expected to control your 600,000 viewers? You can't, So when he went back to court, they looked up all the legal jargon for that too and was about to really slam it to him. But apparently this judge is watching the YouTubes because he corrected that like really quickly, So it's crazy. I think the judge was sympathetic before he found out what this woman was, because people like that. They're the most sweetest people when you meet them, and you're like, yes, I want to help them because I feel bad for them. And the more you get into it, you find out, whoa, they're a user. They're fucking crazy. And that's where both of these people are at right now. She's put the charm on the judge. Poor little me, big YouTuber messing with me. But she's the one poking. Quit poking them then. And he has the right. This is America. He has the right to record anything he wants on his property, in his car, on his person, out in public. We all have that right. And the judge is telling him, you can't do that anymore. Well, no, screw you. Her husband is also a drug addict. I'm not going to get hurt by this guy and not have video proof of it, So
it's named Abner.
No. I say it's been really interesting, and I think the more eyes that get on this, maybe, he'll get some kind of justice out of it, because it's not right. She's put him through hell, Yeah, that's like I said, that's called What the Hales. Even if you type it on YouTube, like I said, a lot of people are covering this story now because it's just insane of how far a judge will let a Karen go, So I've kind of been wrapped up in that because, like I said, the first court hearing I watched was like 5 hours long. And I felt kind of stupid because the whole thing that drug me into it was one of the attorneys sounded like my dad. So I kind of, stopped and was listening to it. And then when I really started listening to it, it was like, wait, what the hell? What? Wait, what? So craziest court case I have ever seen, and I've watched a lot of them, Even child custody hearings don't get this crazy, So yeah, that's kind of interesting if you're curious about legal mumbo jumbo. But another thing that's kind of got my attention, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit this.
No, you're not. But go
ahead.
She says as she's about to do it in a public place, right?
I don't know if you guys have seen on the internet, but there's a big thing right now about Where's Kate? And we're talking about Princess Kate Middleton. Crazy. At first it was kind of like, why the fuck do I care? We're not under the monarch, fuck you. We have our tea. I mean, I don't care. But the more and more this story keeps coming out, the more and more it's just like so freaking crazy. The last time Princess Kate has been seen in public was Christmas. Now, we're talking about, this is a woman who, they take pictures of every day, and she's all over the internet every day, but we haven't seen her since Christmas. And, at first I was thinking, oh, okay, not a big deal. Well, then the castle, I don't know what they're called over there, the castle people, they put out a statement and said that she had a planned abdominal surgery that she's recovering from, and we wouldn't see her until Easter. Okay, that sounds reasonable, right? Mm-hmm. For one thing, if it was planned, I can't believe they didn't say anything to anybody until after it was done. But okay, well, they don't. Now I know this is stretch. Put your hat on. They don't have pictures of her going to the hospital. They don't have pictures of her leaving the hospital. They don't have pictures of William visiting her in the hospital. But within a couple of days of all this happening, Charles announces that he has cancer. And he goes to the hospital. There's pictures of his motorcade. There's pictures of him walking in. There's pictures of Camilla going and visiting him 3 times a day. And then, once again, him leaving the hospital in his motorcade and everything else. So it was kind of like, this is when it started getting my attention. And it was kind of like, okay, Charles went to the hospital unplanned. And they got all kinds of pictures, and it's all over the newspaper. Kate went planned, and they don't have any. So that's kind of weird. So that's when the headlines Where's Kate started trending. So then the palace releases a photo of her in the car with her mom, which is not her. I'm not a fan, but I can look at this and see this is not the same lady, It looks like maybe her sister Pippa, but not her. Her face It's not a fat face, but for Kate it is. It's too chubby of a face for her. So everybody was kind of like, no, that's not her. So I think it was either today or yesterday is Mother's Day over there. And she put out a picture, Princess Kate puts out a picture of her with her kids. And she said that William had taken the picture and Happy Mother's Day. Now that should appease everybody, right? There she is with her kids. Well, then we find out that photo was photoshopped. There's even me as I'm not a pro in Photoshop. I have worked in it for 13 years, but I'm not a pro by any means. But I even looked at this picture and went, oh, really? That's what you're going to put out? And now, of course, the AP, this is when people started really freaking, because the AP put out a statement pulling it from all of their websites, all of their media, everything, because they said this photo has been doctored. And they even went into how many times it had been doctored and everything else. So they let this float for it was today. They let this story float for about 5 hours before, once again, the castle makes Kate put out a statement and said that she's an amateur photographer and she was just playing around with editing. What? But she said William took this picture. So part of the whole thing that's been photoshopped into the picture is her. So how did he take a picture of you and your kids, but then you edited yourself into the picture? So at one point somebody's lied. And why would you put out a photoshopped picture of you and your kids for Mother's Day? I mean, isn't that just insane? So I think they were trying to squash the where's Kate, but really now everybody's going, where the fuck is Kate? What the hell is going on here? And I don't think there would be such a big deal about this if Princess Diana hadn't died the way she did. The media hounded her, and it's hard to believe that same media is the one being quiet now. Oh, they had tons to say about Prince Harry's wife. I can't even remember her name right now.
Meghan.
They had a bunch to say about her, but when it comes to Kate, they've been mum. Totally quiet on this.
Mom, that's good. I like that.
So it's kind of like, I think, this is my opinion and my opinion only, allegedly, I think he's getting ready to divorce her. Because in the picture that she edited, she's not even wearing her ring, which, by the way, is Princess Diana's. She's not even wearing it, which they have photos of her up until Christmas Day with this ring on and everything. So I think she's getting a divorce, and they're trying, now that the monarchy's changing, he's probably not the easiest person to live with right now, so I'm just, I'm kind of worried about her safety at this point. They once Diana cut loose, they went hard, So if you see anything, let me know, because I'm really curious about this. I'm not British, I really don't give a fuck, but more than just why are they doing this?
This is not about nationality. This is about the tinfoil hat.
I'm more nosy.
Right. Absolutely.
Just for my own self,
Sure. Sure.
Once again, the Gladys thing.
Yeah. But I think, we were all pretty young and watched what happened to Diana play out on TV that day. And like I said, it's just kind of, it's kind of crazy. So we shall see. Like I said, I hope she's okay. I hope it's nothing like god awful and she's buried under the palace or something, but
It's a British palace. She won't be alone.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just kind of one of those things that, it's kind of, there's just something not right there, And being a monarch, of course, they're not going to tell us what the hell's going on. It'll take a leak or something for this to come out. But there's just something not right happening over there right now.
Well, speaking of taking a leak, no, I'm kidding.
But no, rabbit holes and that kind of thing, that's about all I've done. I tried to get to feeling better,
That's a hell of a rabbit hole. It's
Yeah.
Two hell of a rabbit holes.
Yeah. Like I said, I think you guys would be more interested in that what the hells, because that one's just kind of like, wow, how can any bystander look at this and think that this is okay, Or how is the judge watching this on YouTube and seeing his actions as okay,
Clearly
Plus
he thinks he knows something that whether he does or not, but
Yeah.
whatever.
And I think at this point it's too late for him to turn course, and he doesn't want to look like that asshole,
Too late.
Too late,
He's gonna have to force somebody to take it away from him, which honestly is worse than just giving it up now.
Yep.
But whatever. They didn't ask me.
And, and besides this, because like I said, I went to his YouTube channel, there's all kinds of corruption in the town and all kinds of stuff that he's helped expose. And so that could be part of why this judge hates him. But it was very apparent from the first day he walked in there, the judge did not like him. But yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah.
So, Mikey. Good luck.
I don't know what I don't have a tinfoil hat in here, so I'm gonna have a hard
You don't
time
have a rabbit
topping
hole?
that. Oh, I am all about the rabbit holes, but I don't think I can top the conspiracy stuff. I mean, we could try, but so
Jump the shark.
yeah, we'll try. I mean, this is my thing is it's funny because mine is, if you're not really into what I watched a documentary this week, and if you're not into this sort of thing, it's an extremely boring thing. But I mean, it's kind of a movie thing, so I found it really interesting. And the documentary I watched is called Robert Wise, American Filmmaker.
What is it?
Robert Wise.
Robert Wise.
Yeah, he's a director. He was a director for a long time.
I was thinking he was the guy on Dad's Knows Best. Or Father's Knows Best. No?
That's Robert Young.
That's Robert Young.
Okay.
It's a Robert. You're close.
It's a Bob.
It's a Bob. Well, this guy was
So
Bob
is Bob Newhart, but come on.
So is Bob Hope. Anyway, you were saying Robert Wise.
Bob Cummings.
Robert Wise.
Robert Wise.
Yeah, so this is a guy who was in Hollywood for a really long time and made a lot of movies that some of them I didn't realize was him. He won multiple Oscars. He actually, it wasn't his first movie, but the movie that he worked on that he kind of got him into the big time film industry. He was one of the film editors on Citizen Kane.
Wow, I had forgotten that.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's really cool.
Yep.
He directed science fiction movies in the 40s and 50s, including The Day the Earth Stood Still,
Yeah.
which is widely considered to be one of the greatest science fiction movies ever. He directed The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah. He directed West Side Story.
Which is another big one.
Big musicals.
Big, yeah.
I had forgotten that.
Big musicals. I mean, he did several film noir movies.
Wow.
Obviously he did Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely insane some of the stuff he did. And like I said, he won Oscars. He did there's another big one that he won. I'm blanking on it, but the list is too long for me to remember it all. That's how crazy it was. I mean, and this just kind of goes through his career. This documentary. I mean, as documentaries go, it's pretty good. It's not fantastic, but it's good. It has a lot of interesting information in it for sure. And this guy's career was just kind of amazing. So it is worth checking out. It's on Tubi, it's on Roku, it's on Prime. It's been around. It came out in like 2013. It's been around for a while. It's got a bunch of footage from an interview he did. I don't think it said when. It was obviously before he died, but there's quite a bit of stuff from that. Somebody sat him down, and it sounds like it's like in some sort of panel type setting. That's just almost like a retrospective of his career, because they just kept asking him about the different movies, and so it's him a lot. Some of this is him talking about his own stuff, and telling stories about people, and it's kind of fun in that regard. Some of them are really boring, and some of them are a little bit on the juicy side, but yeah, it's interesting stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I was impressed. I wasn't expecting it to be as kind of, I didn't expect to wow over it as much as I did when I started it. I was just like, oh, hey, Robert Wise, I know that guy. And apparently I didn't. Apparently I didn't know half of it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely need to check that out. I had totally forgotten that he was involved with Citizen Kane. I remember hearing that a long, long time ago, but then, like I said, I forgot. The more you look at the cast and crew of that film, you go, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, he took his group. I mean, off of the unbelievable publicity he got from the War of the Worlds radio broadcast, and they basically he just rounded everything up and went to Hollywood and started making Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
And poured everything into it.
I haven't watched that film in forever. It's about time to watch it again.
Yep, it has been a while for me too. It is an interesting movie.
It is. I remember the first time I watched that and then seeing Agnes Moorehead. Because all I knew her was from Bewitched.
Right.
And I was like, oh wow. And then this was her first movie.
Uh-huh. It was a lot of their first movies.
It was everybody's. Just about.
Uh-huh. Because they all came to Hollywood together.
You see that, you see right there at the end where you see the cast being shown with their names and all that. You go, I've seen him before. I've seen her before. I remember that this movie and this show. It's like, wow. Right.
Go look at the Oscar rolls for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
You'll see those names over and over again.
Yeah. But yeah, I need to check that out. You said it's on TV.
It's on
and
TV.
Amazon. Mm-hmm. And Roku.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about you, Les?
Well, for one, thank you for the recommendation. I'd seen it around, but I had not taken it in. First, if you're into corruption, Liz,
love it.
if you go to YouTube. Have I talked about this? Tiffany Henyard.
That name sounds familiar.
She is the mayor of Dolton, Illinois.
Yes.
Yes. I remember you talking about this. Yeah.
Okay, so start there.
The
Okay.
pimp mayor.
The city girl mayor.
Yeah.
And super mayor. She likes to call herself super mayor. That's where I would start.
I think the thing that got me was when she said that Martin Luther King had a dream, and she is that dream. And it was like, whoa.
You are the nightmare, my dear.
Yeah. Don't think this is quite what he was dreaming.
The other thing I have is a movie, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say it. It's called Zillafoot.
Zilla?
Zilla, Zillafoot.
So a combination of Godzilla and Bigfoot.
You got it. It was done in like 2019, I want to say. Zillafoot is what is said in the title, and it is so bad. I love bad movies, but this one almost had me throw the TV out the window. Oh, it is horrible. It's terrible acting. The special effects are grade Z, or if there's one even below Z, it's lower than that.
Negative Z.
Yeah. It's amazing. And I sat and watched it, and I went, okay, this is going to end. It's going to end. And it goes on, and it's going to end. And it goes on, and it ends.
It's only an hour long, according to IMDb.
That should tell you how
like-
bad it is.
It's like 80 minutes. It's like an hour and 20. They're lying
My
to
horror
you.
magazine is giving it a 2 out of 5, and they said that's being generous.
Ugh.
IMDb has 3.7 out of 10.
Oh, Lord. Did they go to an asylum and ask those people to rate that movie?
Right.
The written description on IMDb. You'll love this. It won't take long.
Okay.
Scientists battle monsters. Period.
Ta-da.
That's it. 3 words.
See, mine's saying this is half Godzilla, half Bigfoot. It's got my attention.
Okay.
I
And
love
you-
bad movies.
And you
so-
deserve whatever you get when you watch
Yes.
it too. So it's because Les is warning you off here.
I'll even go further on the warning. At the end, they say, coming soon, Zillafoot 2.
Oh, no.
Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, it is, just the thought of it makes me cringe. So, yeah, that's one to avoid, but if you're a dope like me, and I think that was on Prime.
On Prime, huh?
So,
Yep.
no commercials. You can just
It's
shoot
also on
right there.
Tubi if you like commercials.
If you want a reason to stop the player and walk around the house trying to get your mind back, that's what you do. But, oh, man.
The trailer looks like a bad Devo video.
Do they show
With puppets.
do they show the guy in the outfit
The red one.
throwing the tanks around?
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
I'm just seeing a little guy in a red leotard with
Yeah, he
just
is
like
the
a
hero.
beehive on his head.
It's on YouTube.
It's what? He's the takeoff of one of the Japanese kaiju.
Like Mega
fighters.
Man or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, if you come back and tell me how bad it is.
You
I
brought it
may
on
even
yourself.
make my friend watch it with me.
There you go. Do you not like this friend? I mean, what's the deal here?
We're always watching crazy shit.
Well, that's
Thank
up
you,
your alley.
Raspberry.
Sounds like this fits the bill.
And then it suggests one called Cowboys versus Dinosaurs.
Yep.
That's going on
it.
the watch list.
You would think the Cowboys would have learned a lesson after battling the aliens.
Right.
Or at least the Packers. Yeah.
The thing that was sad, really sad about that movie, was the graphic novel was actually pretty good.
Uh-huh.
If y'all are not aware of the story,
We're talking about Cowboys versus aliens now, right?
yeah.
Okay. I was thinking Zillifit. I was like, it's got a comic?
No.
Well,
God, I hope not.
the thing that they were pitching, they were pitching the movie, Cowboys versus Aliens, and the response basically from the studios was like, "Is this based off a comic book or something? Because it sounds like it." So they literally went and created a comic book based off the script. And then it got optioned to be a movie, and then they turned around and did a different script for the movie, and it was horrible. The story for the graphic novel was actually pretty good. It was halfway decent. And somehow they conned Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford and Olivia Wilde to be in that movie. It's like, okay.
Well, it get conned. There's no conned. They wrote a check.
Well,
They paid them. That's why that happened. They paid them. Somebody paid them.
There's no conning in movies like that.
That's why you have agents, is so you don't get conned. But anyway, it's on Zillafoot is on YouTube, and it's in its 80 minutes of glory. Because that the one that's on YouTube says it's an hour and 20. IMDb lied, or was misinformed at least.
have fun, Liz.
Oh, man.
And don't look to me for help.
So I'll definitely check it out once.
Good luck.
And it's got a 2? Hey, I sat through Bunny Men. I'm sure it's not that bad.
Okay. We expect a report. Not a lengthy one, mind you.
Not a lengthy one.
A short report.
Guys, remember, this is the person that had a problem with Kentucky Fried Movie.
This is
No,
also
I
the
had a
person who
problem
just gave us
watching it
20
with my
minutes on Where's
kid.
Kate.
Yeah. I had a problem watching it with my kid. Different scenario
Hey,
there.
we didn't tell you to watch it with Brandon. We told you to watch it.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me
You
not
chose
to
to watch it with Brandon. That's not on us.
Yeah.
Also, this is 6 years ago? Anyway.
That's it.
Pretty cool.
Well, that's enough, I think. At least we've got fodder for discussion for a future time.
Not a lot for me. I had just found out recently that I don't. They had to have added it recently, but I was not. They don't seem to make a really big to do about it. But Pluto has a channel specifically designed for the Lone Ranger. So you can watch all the episodes of Lone Ranger now.
Okay.
They've also added Murder, She Wrote.
They have Matlock?
I think they already had Matlock.
Oh,
so
okay, cool.
all we're missing now is Diagnosis Murder.
There you
with
go,
Dick
Les.
Van Dyke. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they already have Matlock, but we're missing Diagnosis Murder.
Sweet.
And then we'll have the trilogy.
We'll have the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you know that Dick Van Dyke played the first villain in Matlock?
No, I did not know that.
Or Kevin Conway was on Matlock?
Nope.
And then he leans back and goes, ha, 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 ha.
Now, there's a movie I just found out about today, and I've located it, so I want to watch it. It's called Hanny Calder. It's a Western, but directed by Burt Kennedy. Here's the cast. Y'all ready? Raquel Welch, Robert Culp, Ernest Borgnine, Christopher Lee, Jack Elam, Strother Martin.
And this is what now? What was this? What's the title of this again?
Hanny Calder. It's a Western.
Huh.
When was it made?
It says it's a 1971 British Western.
British
So
Western.
it came out in 71. Well, I mean, British, I can see how Christopher Lee was involved if it was British.
Sure.
But I mean, it's not like Christopher Lee did a lot of Westerns.
Right.
That's kind of my main intrigue. It's like, okay, how did they get him? Yeah, once again, he got paid. I know, but still.
Interesting.
I thought there was a movie, Annie Calder.
Well, there could be, but this is Hanny, Hannie.
Okay.
Like Mr. Haney.
Wow.
Excuse me, my brain just blew up.
Wow.
What the hell?
Haney. I was clarifying it.
We were close anyway. Clarifying. Yeah, we're going to put quote marks on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember how it came across to my attention. It had to be something on social media, but I don't remember. So, but I like
Something
okay.
you watched?
No, because all I saw was the poster, and I was like, okay. I mean, obviously Raquel took up most of the poster. But I'm like, who the rest is that? And so I enlarged the picture, and I looked at the cast. I was like, okay, that's an intriguing cast.
It is.
I mean, Jack Elam doing a Western, shock.
I know, right?
And Strother Martin to a certain degree, yes, shock. But freaking Christopher Lee. Ernest Borgnine, I think he's done some Westerns, but I don't think he's done a lot of them. And Robert Culp, he wouldn't know because he's got sideburns all the way. He's got mutton chops, so he's a little hard to tell from the poster. I was like, "That's Robert Culp, okay." Well, I
Take your word for it, yeah.
Well, and I started looking at it like, yeah, the squint of the eyes, yeah, I can kind of see it. All right. So I'll let you know. I'll check it out because I was able to find it online. So I'll definitely check it out and report back.
Cool.
because I'm ready to watch some westerns. It's been a while since I watched them. I did catch like the last half of Once Upon a Time in the West, which I love that film. It's a long film, but I love it. With Charles Bronson, Henry Fonda, Jason Robards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the main cast, and oh man, that is such a good film.
Cool.
So anyway, before we get into this week's episode, I do want to point out that we do have a Discord that is free to join if you like to hang out with us. Sign up is free. The app is available on all app stores. We post news items, stuff for discussion, stuff to laugh at, videos and music and memes, and we'll do some things on the Discord, like a movie night or some such like that, to kind of hang out and chat, that type of stuff. So if that's something you want to do, you can do that. Like I said, it's free to sign up. It's available on all the app stores. We do have an open invite on our website, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. So come and hang out with us today.
Yeah. It's like an episode of the show all the time, sort of.
All the time, sort of. Yep. Okay. For this week, we are joined once again by Madeleine Holly-Rosing, who has a new Kickstarter coming out on the 19th. If you're not familiar, we've had her on several times, like we mentioned in the interview. And if you're not familiar with her, she is the creator of Boston Metaphysical Society. So in this interview, we obviously talk about the new Kickstarter and what's been going on in her life, and get some recommendations for TV and movies shows. So with that, let's have some fun with Madeleine. Longtime listeners to this podcast certainly know our next guest. We've had her on several times. Actually, I looked it up. The first time was in 2018. You've been on every year except for 2022, but we did two episodes in 2021 for the Book of Demons and the audio podcast, the audio drama.
Yes.
So
yes.
So this is interview number 8 with Madeleine Holly-Rosing, the creator of Boston Metaphysical Society. We always have fun having her on, so welcome back, Madeleine.
Thank you once again for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And I think I gave you guys the year off because I try not to overstay my welcome.
Oh, never.
Oh, that would never be a thing.
We do this weekly, Madeleine. You're not gonna one time a year is fine.
No, I try to be conscientious of that. But for those of you, your listeners who haven't heard any of my previous interviews, for a brief recap, the series of Boston Metaphysical Society is about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battles supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston. It's primarily a graphic novel series, but I also have prequels in prose and a full cast special effects audio drama called The Ghost Ship. And you guys were nice enough to have me on to, of course, plug my upcoming Kickstarter, which will be for the very first special edition hardcover of Volume 1 of Boston Metaphysical. We've never done a hardcover before. This will be a limited special edition, so when I run out, I run out. I'm not reprinting them. And so we have lots of fun stuff going on in there. But we can talk about that and talk about other things like what's on Netflix. And did you see Damsel?
No, what's Damsel?
You're off. You haven't seen Damsel yet.
Nope, have not.
Nope. Okay, go look it up. It's on Netflix. You'll love it. Trust me. For all the geeky geek heads out there, you'll definitely love it. It stars Millie Brown, the young lady from
Stranger Things.
That one
right.
from Enola Holmes and Stranger Things.
Awesome.
Interesting.
And yeah, it's really well done. It's written by a former classmate of mine from UCLA. So
cool.
go Dan.
Cool.
And it's really tight. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll all enjoy it.
Huh.
Yeah, definitely have to check it out.
Sweet. 5 minutes in, we've already got a fun recommendation for TV. Sweet.
Yeah.
We could use it.
Ah.
I just started the Mayors of Kingston, or Mayor of Kingston. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that one with Jeremy
Renner, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I heard that's very good.
It is pretty good. It's wrote by Taylor Sheridan, which is what caught my attention.
That's why.
Okay, yeah.
So far, I've loved everything he's put out. I got really hooked on Yellowstone, and that's kind of what drew my attention to him. So,
I actually haven't seen Yellowstone, but I've seen the prequels to Yellowstone.
Oh yeah,
and I love those.
Those were really good too.
Those were good. Those were very good. And now I'm upset because Netflix doesn't do DVDs anymore, and we only subscribe to Netflix and Amazon Prime. Because how many of these can you subscribe to before it just gets crazy?
Tell her, Liz.
Well.
Oh no, wait! Before it gets crazy, never mind.
Yeah.
Liz is long past that point.
We're past crazy.
Well, we used to get the DVDs, they'd be late, a year after, the season came out. But we're like, okay, that's fine, no big deal. But now we can't even do that. So now we're trying to figure out how we're going to watch, some of the stuff we like that were on other cable channels. So we'll have to work that one out.
So far, Paramount Plus is... Do what?
I was going to say, you're going to do a lot of cramming things into 7-day free previews is what you're going to end up doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of thinking of doing subscribing for 3 months and binge everything for that particular channel,
Right.
and then
Wait
get
for
off.
a new season.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we'll do HBO Max for 3 months to get off, then we do Paramount Plus for 3 months and get off.
I have a sneaking feeling that that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and now Amazon offers them all in one place. And that's kind of nice. I just wish they would, some of the others, I'm able to bundle and get it cheaper. And they're not doing that yet. So if they catch on to that, I'll just switch all over to Amazon, and a lot easier to keep subscriptions. But I think my favorite subscription so far has been Paramount Plus.
They've been having a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't FX the one that has Shogun? The new Shogun?
So. I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about that.
Yeah.
I
heard that's it was 10 years in the making.
Yeah, I'm curious because I remember the original miniseries when it came on.
I was about to
80s.
say, I can't.
I read the book. That's how big a geek I am.
I
can't think of that name and not picture Richard Chamberlain.
I know, right?
Richard Chamberlain, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no,
What's wrong with this picture?
What was the author's book before Shogun?
What is that?
What book did he do before?
Was that James Clavell?
James Clavell was the guy who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, several really big books.
Epic. Yeah.
Did anyone read? Did you read King Rat?
Yes.
That was his first.
Oh, well, okay. It's also the shortest of those books, but anyway.
Well, yeah, that's not surprising because it was a big hit, right? So it's just like with Rowling, her first Hogwarts books were, smaller. And then I think they just stopped editing them because she just kept selling more and more, and they didn't care that they were over 140,000 words long. But yeah, they just literally stopped. I think they stopped editing them because my husband, we do a lot of audiobooks because I travel a lot, and I remember we were listening to all the Harry Potter books, and the first one was super tight. Second one, okay. By the third one, it was just sections were just rambling, and you were going none of this whole, the last 15 minutes didn't even need to be here.
Yeah.
It didn't really serve a purpose. So yeah, I think they stopped editing her books because they just didn't care anymore. They were making so much money.
Yep.
It happens.
Don't get me started on Harry Potter. But anyway.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
Hey, Mike, what do you think about Harry Potter?
No. I did. King Rat was great, man. I'm just saying. It was actually made into a movie back in the mid-'60s.
60s.
Not long after the book came out.
Yeah.
Really?
I've heard of it. I've never read it. Didn't they have someone famous from back in the day in King Rat in the movie?
I want to say, was it George Segal? That's the face that sticks in my head.
That would sound about right.
I mean, I guess Google's our friend, right?
That sounds right, because that would be his heyday.
Yeah, 1965. George Segal.
Be about the right age for that.
Yep, book was 62. Hey, music by John Barry.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm there. I'm in.
Denham Elliott's in it. Cool.
Marcus. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get lost in his own museum.
Well, segueing, if I can even speak now. You guys are my first interview for the Kickstarter, or it's pre-Kickstarter because I launch on the 19th, and so yeah, you're a great warm up for me.
Cool.
Before I hit the whole podcast circuit, but we're doing There's a couple things that are different about this book. Obviously, it'll contain the original 6-issue miniseries, which everything began. It'll include pinup art that people have never seen before. That will be included. Also, some weapons diagrams and sketches from I like to call from Granville's workshop. So that'll be fun.
Cool.
And also a 10-page story with art by M.J. Erickson. And it's also a prequel story that focuses on Samuel and Andrew, Caitlin's father. And it's a prequel to the 6-issue miniseries. So I don't like to ruin it, but you don't see much of Andrew in the first 6 issues because of something that happens. And so at least here you get to see and you meet more of him. So I wanted to do a story of just a Samuel and Andrew story because you don't see that a lot. So that was a lot of fun. And we're also going to have limited editions of metal business cards that have special detective etched on them and our original owl logo. And they will be in brass, copper, and black. And they look really cool. Alejandro Lee is the artist on that. They will also be limited to this. So this is a very unique Kickstarter, and that everything is limited. And
cool.
and so hopefully, we do well enough so we can hit some stretch goals where we can add ribbon. And you've probably seen the cover already, done by Rebecca Isaacs, and with Troy's logo at the top. It just screams, foil printing in the logo. So hopefully we'll be able to reach that stretch goal and make the book even more beautiful than it already is. Awesome. So that's going to be running from, like I said, Tuesday, March 19th to, I guess, April 17th, 18th, something like that.
The 30 days window.
Yep, doing this traditional 30 days. And for those of your fans who are going to be in Anaheim, I will be at WonderCon on March 29th through 31st.
Oh, cool.
Over in Small Press. So, yes, this con season begins for me at WonderCon.
It's that time again.
Circuit, right.
And I was trying to figure out a way to get to Fan Expo Dallas this year, but it turns out, well, I was too late trying to get a table, so they're sold out. But I was a little late. I have kind of a scaled down con season this year because you may or may not have heard. Middle of last year, my father passed away, and I'm the executor, so we're just now starting to wrap that up. So that takes an enormous amount of time for those of you who've been through. Yeah,
that's a lot of work.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. So I've literally in the past 8 months have only had time to write the 10-pager that's going into the hardback, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't until like the last 2 days it was invited to be part of an anthology called like Holiday Spirits, the monster issue, which is a lot of fun. And I'm doing Medusa, so I'm pulling that story together right now for that, and that will eventually be on Kickstarter, probably towards the end of the year. Cool. For the Christmas season, for the holiday season.
Cool.
Interesting. That sounds cool right off the bat.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll tell us all about it when it comes up.
Oh yeah. I'll tag you, and when I get everything approved by the editor, and I'm sure he'll, once everything's approved, he'll want me to go talk about it.
Cool.
But yeah, I definitely love playing in, either other people's sandboxes or stepping outside of the Boston Metaphysical world. Even though I love Boston Metaphysical, as a creator, it's really nice to step away from it sometimes. So
you have to do something else occasionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's been great doing Lady Mechanica with Joe Benitez. And that, I'd done the first draft of the 4 issues that I did for them a while ago, and now I'm just waiting for them to finish up the last 4 issues of The Devil in the Lake, just because I know that's going to impact my story, which happens right after that. So I know there's going to be rewriting to do. So I'm waiting for them to be done so I can go in and then do what I need to do to make the character arcs right and make Joe happy, because we like to make Joe happy.
Mm-hmm.
He and Marcia Chen, his editor, they're absolutely great, and I've been having a great time working with them. I can't say enough good things about them.
Yep, some great stuff.
So how you doing, Liz? You still awake?
Yeah, I'm listening.
The word is out.
She's over there Googling damsel.
I understand you're being sick, and it's just like how you, after a while, you just get tired and you start sinking in your chair, and
right, your eyes get heavy. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I totally understand.
I'm listening.
She's following it all. She's taking notes. She's not
Yeah.
really taking notes, but that's okay.
Well, she did for Damsel, but that's about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure, that down.
The other
I've
thing
got
we've been
it
watching.
saved already.
Yeah, anyway, the other thing we've been watching on Netflix, and we're almost done with, is a thing called The Tourist. And it's out of Australia, even though the second season takes them to Ireland. And it's more of a dramedy murder mystery. And yeah, I'd highly recommend that as well. It's there's no magic or anything like that. It's, set in present day, and about a guy who has complete amnesia and is learning very slowly about who he was and why are all these people trying to kill him.
That's the one with, what's his face? Simon something, the guy from The Mentalist. Is that the one with him in it?
No. Jamie Doran.
Oh, Dornan, yeah.
Dornan from...
He was from Game of Thrones, right?
No, he was from... he was in the awful... Well, he was in a very good series called The Fall on Netflix. But before that, I'm sorry, I blank on it because I hate it. 50 Shades.
50 Shades of Grey. That one. Yeah, that guy. Okay.
Yes.
I can see why you blanked on it.
A lot of people have been blocking that out for a while, but anyway.
No, I remember I was reading a blog somewhere where I didn't realize at the time there was just an excerpt of 50 Shades in the blog. And I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, this is so bad. And and then it just took off, and it's like so bad. It's just bad writing, and it boggles the mind sometimes.
I never got into the 50 Shades stuff.
Well, I'm not going to admit it now, even if you did, right?
No, a lot of people, obviously it was a bestseller. A lot of people disagree with me, and that's fine. They certainly can. But yeah, I think when the second or third book came out and they realized that, oh, he's just a stalker.
Right. It was cute when it started, but it's just gotten weird after a while. Yeah.
It's like, he's just a stalker. He's always been a stalker.
Yeah, unfortunately, strangely enough, some people have fantasies about being stalked, so it just plays to a specific crowd, that's all.
It is, but you know something? When you're the one fantasizing about it, you're still in control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you're just fantasizing, when you're only fantasizing.
When you're just fantasizing, only fantasizing, you're the one who's in control because it's your fantasy. But when someone's stalking you in real life, that's outside of your control, and that's not so much fun anymore.
Mm-mm. Nope.
So when people say like, oh yeah, well, people fantasize about it, it's because they're actually in control.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah.
It's a lot less fun when
it's a lot less fun. Apparently even Sting, his famous song, Every Breath You Take, he stopped singing it because he realized it was about a stalker.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty
their
creepy.
biggest hit.
Yeah.
It was a monster hit. And yeah.
It was a monster hit, and it was actually about stalking. But I don't think he thought of it that way. I think he thought of it as being very romantic.
Right. The romantic side of obsession is fine, but
yeah,
it's still obsession,
not when
and it's still not healthy.
Yeah, when it's not reciprocated, it's an issue. So what have you guys been watching?
I don't ever watch anything new. I'm boring. I only watch old movies and stuff, documentaries.
Yeah.
I've been
What
watching.
old movies then? What old movies then?
What are you saying, Les?
I was just going to say, I've been watching Matlock.
There you go.
Okay.
May as well be old.
Hey, maybe it's because I'm getting old too. It was a pleasant little mystery show that lasted quite a while. It was obviously very successful.
Yeah.
Must
But
have
they
been
gave away.
Do anything that wasn't though.
Andy Griffith?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there was stuff that didn't make it on the air that he worked on. I don't know.
Do what? What was that again?
Did Andy Griffith ever do anything that wasn't great?
That flopped.
What was the movie he did about the gargoyles? Was it Gargoyles?
They're
bad.
He did a pilot for. I don't know if they even did any other episodes, but I know there was at least a pilot where he was a former NASA. He worked for NASA, but what he had left that to run a salvage yard, and he actually built a rocket to go to the moon to salvage all the parts on the moon and bring it back.
Yeah.
That was an actual series like in the 70s or 80s.
Talked about that before because this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
One of y'all brought this up somewhere.
There was
this series. I'll have to ask my husband if he's ever heard of this. Do you remember the name of it?
I'll have to look it up.
I think it was something like Salvage.
It's like Salvage 1 or some such. Let me see.
He was also the bad guy in Spy Hard, which was when Leslie Nielsen was basically just doing rip-offs of other stuff.
Right.
That was his James Bond rip-off, and Andy Griffith was the bad guy. It's an
Probably make a
absolutely
good bad guy.
terrible movie. But in being a terrible movie, it's hilarious. And Andy Griffith just plays it to the hilt. He just has a blast in it.
Oh, just his first appearance, or when he comes back, he goes, "I'm back and I'm twice as ugly." I was like, okay, that's a good lie.
It's something to preach, but okay.
Oh.
Okay. General Rancor was his name in that movie.
Yeah.
General Rancor?
Yeah,
that's the villain in Spy Hard.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Okay, someone had fun with that name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Absolutely did.
Has anybody watched Ricky Stenicki?
No.
No.
Who is that? I saw that somewhere.
That's the John Cena.
It's John Cena.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I tried, but I had to.
You gave up?
Stop. Yeah, not because of the movie though. Just
Was your granddaughter in the room or something?
no. John Cena was Michelle's favorite, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Salvage 1. It actually lasted 19 episodes in 1979. Andy Griffith, Joel Higgins, Trish Stewart. Harry runs a salvage operation in which he and his partners reclaim trash and junk and sell it as scrap. Harry also has a homemade spaceship, which he sometimes uses to reclaim junk satellites.
Okay.
Because there are so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this was 79. That's the space thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Blame Star Wars.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of space movies came out in about a 5-year span.
Everyone trying to catch the Star Wars magic and failing generally horribly.
Sometimes gloriously, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That movement wasn't lost on television for sure. Got some interesting stuff out of it. but there's also some stinkers.
Has anybody started watching the 3-Body Problem on Netflix?
No, is that a?
It's from a Chinese science fiction novel that I think it won the Hugo. It won a bunch of things back in the day. Actually, not that back in the day. It's not that old. They did a Chinese version, which was really boring. But the showrunners are the same guys from Game of Thrones.
Ah,
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
I haven't heard of that one either.
Scritch, 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 scritch.
What?
Yeah, it's called. They call it 3-Body Problem, and then the Chinese version is the 3-Body Problem.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's so you don't
Confuse the two.
That's right.
Didn't we have some Scarecrow movies like that too? One was like
we're not talking about the
Scarecrow
Scarecrow movie.
Why would you
No.
bring up scarecrows?
We made that mistake once. We're not doing it again.
But yeah.
We
One
did
of them
Scarecrow
was the
movies a
same
couple
thing,
of
but it was
Halloweens
like
ago.
the Scarecrow.
Yeah, we covered one called Scarecrow, and then we covered another one called Scarecrows.
Scarecrows. Then
Scarecrows, okay.
Yeah.
There was like Night of the Scarecrow and then Dark Night of the
Scarecrow. Yeah.
So they're not original with their Scarecrow names.
One of those movies was reasonably good.
I think it was Dark Knight. That was the one.
Dark Knight was the good one.
That was the one with
Charles Durning.
Charles Durning and
Larry Drake.
Larry Drake. Oh, the great Larry Drake.
Mm-hmm. For all of 4 minutes, he was in that movie.
Yeah, true.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
It came out 40 years ago. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. That's there's some old stuff on Netflix, like Travelers. That was good. That's an older sci-fi. That was actually pretty good. Lock and Key, of course.
Yeah.
Umbrella Academy. I guess that's coming back soon.
I hope so.
And maybe some more Black
I did.
Mirror.
Cool.
That's the one Jared Way wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shadow and Bone, of course. But there's only 2 seasons of that. That's not coming back. They canceled it.
They usually do the good stuff I get into.
Netflix canceled something after 2 seasons? No way.
No way.
I'm surprised.
It was kind of during. It was right at the end of the writer's strike. And a friend of mine was the showrunner for Shadow and Bone. And she's so good. She'd be the one if someone wanted to make a Boston Metaphysical, either animation or live action. If she said, I'll do it, I would just say, here it is. Call me when it's on.
The classic shut up and take my money thing, yeah.
Well, because the reason is, one, she was one of the people who helped me develop it over 10 years ago, because we were in the same class together. And I completely trust her judgment. And she's a fabulous writer herself. So, yeah.
Nice.
I really enjoyed Shadow.
I think she's the only person where I would do that.
Cool.
But
well, since we're back on it, how's Mystery at Pikes Peak going?
Well, we're, I would say, on hiatus until Elizabeth can start drawing again. She did get back to me a couple weeks ago and said she was hopefully going to start inking the first few pages of issue 3.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't seen anything come in yet. So that's going to be done when that gets done.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
good excuse on that one.
Yeah. No, obviously, I want her to be well and healed and everything. So
she needs to take care of herself. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with that. It just requires me to do a little pivoting.
Sure.
Which is why we have the Kickstarter for the hardback.
Well,
I was kind of on the back burner, and it got like, okay, I guess we're going to do this now. Yeah, normally I plan Kickstarters months ahead of time, if not close to a year ahead of time. And this one was, didn't have quite as much advance notice, but it'll all be good. I got a good team.
Yep.
It's just,
absolutely.
yes, I would love to get Pikes Peak done. I mean, Elizabeth's doing such a fantastic job, and
She is.
yeah.
And the thing that kills me, of course, is that cliffhanger.
Yes, I knew that because I was thinking, well, we'll be done, and then I figured I would be running another Kickstarter for 3 and 4 last fall, so people wouldn't have to wait too long for the next 2 issues. But life happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was
and
not meant to be.
I looked at the last page of issue 2, and I just thought to myself, oh, people are going to kill me. They're just going to kill me.
We're not going to kill you on our show. We're going to maybe poke at you a little bit, but we're not going to kill anything. Nope.
Yeah, no, that's
fine.
fair.
Yeah, like I said,
No,
Elizabeth
you get
needs
it.
to take care of Elizabeth, and the rest will come when it comes.
Yeah. No, she knows that, and Katie, the colorist, is, whenever it's ready, Katie is ready too, and I love working with both of them, and Katie, it's been a lot of fun. I think working with Katie has, I think, actually made me a better comic writer, because she asks me all sorts of good questions. I go like, oh, where's the light coming from? I'm like, that's a really good question. Let me figure that out. So, no, she makes me think, and I like that. And
Yeah, that's cool.
I think we went through about 5 different iterations on the pages where Caitlin is in her kind of psychic vision stage of how we wanted that to look. So, yeah, we really talked that one through about, because that was going to set the template for the rest of the series. So visually you would know, okay, Caitlin's in her vision world now.
Yeah, in her fugue state.
And in that vision state, and how, I wanted it to look, and Katie's ideas, and so yeah, I think she did one page like 5 different ways before we settled on what it needed to be.
See, and
So,
that kind of collaboration is one of the things that makes comics special too. Because you could do it with words and an editor, but it's kind of not the same.
No, it's not. And then also working with our main cover artist, Angela Wu, I mean, that's been a real treat, because she really thinks about the cover. I mean, I send my artists all sorts of background material and notes, and oftentimes reference images, just to make it life easier on them. And of course, they can do more, and I'll help them do more research if you need it. But yeah, she and I really talk through those covers, and because initially some of the initial covers, I think she was very excited about the job, and was doing a little too much, and I kind of had to like pull her back, and it all worked out great. But I really, just the conversation back and forth, because she lives in Singapore, I believe. And just wonderful conversations about it, and the development of, because each of the 4 main covers I wanted to have sort of highlight each of the 4 main characters that we now have in Caitlin, Samuel Granville, and now Alma, who's part of the team, and to focus, to highlight them a little bit more. And so we really talked about it, and the 3rd cover issue, which nobody's seen yet, I mean, I have it, features Granville, but the color scheme she did, you almost like, we could do this in 3D. It's really interesting what she did. She's very, very creative, very talented young woman, and I happened to find her. I go through everybody else's portfolio. I go through tons of portfolios, but I also go through like Kickstarters of friends of mine where I like the art to see who they get pinups from, or other variant covers. And I found her by going through Ray Chow's Skies of Fire. And, Ray and I are friends, and I went through and I saw some of the work she did, and I'm like, yeah, I want Angela. And so, yeah, he recommended her as well. And then he told me later on, he said, when I'd hired her, he says, yeah, she's so excited about doing this. Cool. And she's all gone on to bigger and better now, too. In that I think now has representation, and it's kind of nice to know that almost every artist that I've hired who is maybe not just starting out, but just coming up in life has vaulted into bigger and better after they're done with me. So it's kind of nice.
Sweet. And as soon as somebody tells all those talent scout type people that, then they're going to be knocking on your door. Because clearly you can find them.
Yeah, well, it's a combination of finding the right artist who I know will bring justice to the Boston metaphysical world and can represent what that is. Because there are a ton of great artists out there. Sure. But not all of them have a style or sensibility that suits this particular universe. But suits somebody else's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, it's like you'll never see boob windows or never see boob windows or anything like that in anything I do.
Not in Victorian.
Yeah. Even era. If I do something else, unless it's No, because if you, I'm sure you guys have seen White Ash, Charlie Stickney's White Ash, mm-hmm. and the Glarin series. If you haven't, definitely check it out. Glarin is his mature spin-off off of White Ash, and he only hires female artists, and you can tell because it's all about sexy elves, but it's sexy elves from the female gaze. And it's really different. It's still sexy. They're still, sexy elves. And it's beautiful, beautiful art. And I love it. And I love the story. But there's it's a different sensibility when you look at the art, and you can tell.
Interesting.
So, you can portray a sexy woman without objectifying her.
You can.
So, in fact, he's going to be he's launching, I think, the day before I am on March 18th, to do a short run for a news story. So, yeah, definitely check out Charlie. Charlie's the best. He's a wonderful human being, too. And he actually suggested Rio Burton to do one of my variants. And she did the beautiful cover art that we did also as a metal cover for the variant of issue 1 for Pikes Peak.
Oh, right.
And then Steph C did the variant for issue 2. Both are gorgeous, but in totally different ways.
Yep, it's good stuff. And the first 2 issues of Pikes Peak do you have those on your website yet?
Yes.
Cool.
I do. And they will also be available in a couple of the reward tiers for the new Kickstarter.
Nice.
We're going to do the hardback, this special edition version of Volume 1. will be in obviously hardback. It'll also be in softback, also limited in quantity. Particularly, for those who are new to the Boston Metaphysical world. And I will have limited add-ons through Kickstarter just because the logistics between add-ons on Kickstarter and add-ons on BackerKit have been a challenge for me. So I'm keeping them very simple for the add-ons for Kickstarter, but if people want to add on in BackerKit later, I'll have a whole slew of stuff for people to pick and choose from.
Yep.
Yeah. But yes, you can get Pike's Peak, either the Angela Wu covers or the variant covers. They are on the website right now.
Sweet.
Well, probably I have like special packages kind of thing.
Right.
Try to save people money.
Yep. And I want everybody else to be waiting to resolve that cliffhanger just like I am. So I do not want to suffer alone.
Yes. Obviously I want Elizabeth to be healthy and...
Yeah. Nope, we'll wait. It's fine.
Yes. Yeah. It's yes. I feel your frustration.
Sure.
But yes, her health comes first. There's no doubt about that.
Totally.
And I like to think that I'm smart enough that I can work around it. So we shall continue on, and
so far, so good.
Yeah, and what may happen is it may just give me time to go finish the novel trilogy. I'd gotten 20,000 words into the second novel when my father passed away. So, I have to go back and reread everything now before I start again.
Yeah, it's probably been a bit.
Yeah, it's been a bit. And also, I have another comic series that I would love to get off the ground, and hopefully I can do that in the next year or so.
Cool.
So completely different than Boston Metaphysical.
Neat.
I don't want to give away too much.
No, you shouldn't. It's way too early, I'm sure. So,
it's way too early.
We'll be perfectly happy to blast out your spoilers when they come. It's okay if it's not now. That's fine. Just let us know.
Yeah, I'm still culling through portfolios to see who would be a good match for what I want to do. And so much of it depends not only, finding the right person, but budgeting and scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
I think I went through about 5 or 6 other artists before Elizabeth, and either I couldn't afford them, or they just didn't have the time. They said, we can start in like 2025. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe later.
Yep. Takes a lot of time to do what they do. So,
Oh, yeah. I know a lot of it, you just got to catch them at the right time. I know Roberta in Granada, who does Doctor Who for Titan Comics. Mm-hmm. I was able to get her to do a 10-pager for me for when I did volume 2. And because I caught her right between her Doctor Who issues. And so she says, I can do a 10-pager because that wouldn't take her as much time. And it's, it's all finite and it's not a continuing series. And so she was able to slip that into her schedule. But yeah, it's a timing. It's always a timing issue.
Mm.
Particularly if you want someone like Roberta in Granada.
Right.
Yeah.
She's been around a while and she's good.
Oh, she is. She's very good.
So she's in demand.
yeah, I mean, if the world broke down and she couldn't do Doctor Who anymore, and I just say like, come on over. I'll give you something to do.
Heck yeah.
So I'm sure everybody else would too.
Right. You'd have to get in line,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, that would be a long line. But fortunately, I can get a lot of times artists can fit in a cover,
Yeah.
which is nice. Yeah, I think even Steph C, who did the variant cover, I think she went and got representation now too. So
Sweet.
yeah. But yeah, I will, when it's all ready, I'll look forward to sharing out the variants. For issues 3 and 4, I have a variant by Yishan Lee, which I love. So that'll be interesting when I can eventually share that.
Cool. We can just look forward to it until then.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I'm afraid I have to make you wait. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Stuff happens. We believe me, we've all had enough stuff we've had to shift things around to deal with lately, so we get it.
Yeah.
It happens. All right, any other TV or movie recommendations?
What I've just finished watching. Well, waiting for Bridgerton, which I think is on in May. That's always a hoot. It's what I call like a guilty pleasure.
That name
And
sounds
the costuming
familiar.
is so,
What's that? Is that the what is that? I keep being wrong when I say is that the thing? So I'm gonna stop now. But what's that one about? I know I've heard the name.
that's it's sort of an slightly alternate history-ish of British society in the, I guess would be the mid 1800s. Are we late in 1800s? I don't think they have cars yet.
Oh, okay.
I think they're still in carriages and horses. Yeah. But it has royalty and actually no, it's earlier than that. It's in the 1700s, I think. Late 1700s, early 1800s. Because I think it's technically after the Revolutionary War.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But it's a very romantic. It's very romance and beautiful and witty conversation, and it's a lot of fun.
Neat. Sounds vaguely Austin-ish.
It is. Yes. That's a good reference. That's a good reference point. It's very Jane Austen-ish.
Cool.
Otherwise, what else? Well, of course, you must have seen The Expanse, right? On Amazon? Please say yes.
When in doubt, we put it on Les. Les, have you seen The Expanse? Because Les watches a lot of TV and movies.
Yeah, it's on. You started off on Sci-Fi and then moved to and got picked up by Amazon.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it. I hadn't watched it.
Yeah.
No, it's very good. I highly recommend it if you've got Amazon Prime. Is The Expanse. And if you like more kind of high violent mysteries, there's Reacher on Amazon. We really enjoyed that. That was pretty good.
As long as it's not
You can
Tom
hear my
Cruise.
husband yelling at the dogs outside. Oh no. No.
Invincible's about to come back on Amazon.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
The second half of season 2.
The second half, season 2. Yep. He swears he's already working on 3. Mm-hmm. And to that I say, yeah.
You're probably going liar.
Yeah, fire.
Liz is quickly
Hands on
losing
fire.
faith in Robert Kirkman, but that's a different story.
I love him, but we need to have a talk.
He just needs to listen
no,
to a
Invincible
few
is great.
back episodes. He'll get his talk.
It is. Yeah. He needs to quit his projects, focus on one, follow through.
Focusing on one doesn't pay the bills, Liz. Come on.
Right.
But if you have a hit on your hands, it does.
The deal is, if you have a hit on your hands today, it's crap you did 3 years ago, and so you can't just turn and run like that because it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wasn't going to get going on that again.
Too late.
I know. I'm bad.
Well, are any of you going to San Diego Comic-Con this year?
No.
I wish. I enjoyed it when I'd been, but just can't get to it now. It sells out so damn fast.
That's the trick.
Oh, that's true.
You got to plan that.
That's why
like
you
3
have to
years
go
ahead.
there. Like I, we're in small press again.
Right. Just it's simple, Les. Just live an hour away. It makes it all easier.
Sure.
There you go.
We live a good 2 hours away, but well, we work it, so
Right.
that's different.
I think Les would be willing to work it to get in the door. I think he's.
Oh,
he'd
hell
be
yeah.
cool with that. You
Work
need
it,
somebody to work
Les.
your table. Let him know.
Work it, Les. Work it.
God, you make
Well,
me sound like a
actually, we-
stripper.
Make it rain.
We've actually done that to get some help. We've kind of done trading for like, okay, when one of us is doing, because my husband does San Diego, it's one of the few cons he does with me. But even then, sometimes you just need someone there, just to keep people occupied while you do, like, while I do the actual selling.
Sure.
And so yeah, no, we've gotten badges, pro badges for people to, or an extra badge to come in, or we get another exhibitor badge, and then they pay us for it, and then they also help out. And
Les is a great upseller.
And now I'm of the age where I can go cheap. When they decided to drop the price for the elderly, I said, I'm in on that.
that works. But you see, I'm a good boss, so if you come work for me, it's like, you need to show up at 2, so to go get my coffee at 3. And then, a couple other things, and then you go play for the day. So, I have to have my 3 o'clock latte. That's critical. That keeps me going until 7 when we close.
Very important.
And then the occasional emergency, like I forgot my hairspray. So you go to the drugstore and go.
I usually don't carry that with me, but we'll see what we can do.
But I would give you money to go. I actually did that happen one year that I forgot my hairspray, and a friend of mine came by and I said, here's money, go buy it, please.
Go buy me hairspray.
And she did. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I have to be here at the table and sell.
It can be the weirdest things that you end up needing too when you're out there and you can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even food, I'm always surprised if people forget to bring food. Years ago, I was paneling. I wasn't exhibiting. I was just a panelist at LA Comic Con, and Ray Chow, who did Skies of Fire, I actually just brought some food with me. And I walked by his table and I said, "Hey, Ray," and he's busy. And I said, "Hey, do you want, this brownie thing I have?" And he was like, "Yes, I have no food." I said, "What? You're kidding me, right?" So he's like inhaling. So yes, occasionally I end up feeding my fellow table mates around, but most people remember to bring food. You kind of have to.
You kind of only have to forget it once, and you learn the lesson fast with that one. Food's important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we kind of have that down pat. I guess we might. My dogs are barking at something. There must be another dog out. Like, how dare you? This is our place.
Mine's got the alarms
So
going
when
off.
will this be? I'm sorry.
Oh, my dogs have got the alarms going crazy.
They do that on purpose, you know that,
Oh, they
right?
do. I can look out there and Bug's probably scratching her butt right there on camera.
On the camera, right?
Yep.
And thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bug says you're welcome.
Oh, you gotta love them.
Yeah.
You got it. It's part of the contract.
My husband has a like woodshed that he does a lot of carpentry work and stuff out there. And my littlest one is the hunter. And he was going crazy the other day. Just he had something cornered. We never could find it or anything else. So I go out there the other night. My husband's like, "Look, come here." And I said, "Okay." And there's like this little bitty, like if you put your fingers together and make a triangle about that big of an opening between like his motorcycle shed and his wood shed. And he shines a light up there and there's just like this hairy eyeball looking out at me. So apparently they've scared all the possums up to the roof of this thing. And he just stares out. He says, anytime you walk by, it always is looking out at you. So it's like,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, they're the good pests, though. You know, they eat bugs and fleas.
Oh, no.
And,
No, possums are, they're good ones to have around.
yeah, they don't mess your stuff up like squirrels and rats, you know. So I wish they'd leave them alone. But
They don't make
my
the
little
distinction.
yeah, my little one has brought them inside to me, though. And it's like, no, we like them outside, please. Yeah. And they really do play dead.
Thanks for the Mother's Day gift, but
Yeah,
But next time, stick with chocolate.
right. Impressed, but not touching it.
Very nice. Get it out of here.
Yeah. Oh. That's when I'm glad there's guys around.
Totally sexist. But anyway.
Well, yeah. Hell, if I had a girl in the house that would do it, but I'm surrounded by guys.
Wow,
So.
that is true. You are sexist by default.
Right? Just because the only girl in the house won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
When I said I do, there's things I don't. And that's one of them.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Also not my problem. So, hey, it's all good.
Right? Yeah.
Anyway, Boston Metaphysical Society.
Yes. Going back to that.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, I guess, to kind of paraphrase what I said before, we launch on March 19th, Tuesday, March 19th, for our first ever hardback edition of Volume 1, which will feature our original 6-issue miniseries, plus a bonus 10-page story with art by M.J. Erickson, some very cool, what I like to call from Granville's workshop weapons design sketches, and some pinup art that either no one has seen before or hasn't seen in a long time, and has never been included in a volume before, so that'll be fun. And it runs until April 17th, 18th, and we are doing an early bird special for the first 48 hours. So the basic reward tier of getting the hard cover will be $35, and that'll be good for, like I said, the first 48 hours. So for anyone who gets on then, you'll be getting quite a deal. And if you like the metal business card sets. Those are available as an add-on in the brass, copper, and black stainless steel. And they look really amazing. I'm really impressed.
Yeah,
but
those do sound cool. Looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing those.
yeah, I wanted to do something special. It's sort of like, I call them business cards. They're sort of like membership cards that make you a special detective as part of the Boston Metaphysical team.
Almost
And,
like badges.
Almost.
Kind of-
But you could also use them as a bookmark too.
Sure.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. We'll link it all and we'll blast it out as soon as we know when things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah,
I'm already signed up for the first day.
Cool.
So yeah, it's like a week from tomorrow.
Yep.
Which is absolutely frightening to me. It's like, what?
All day a
So
week.
much to do.
I know. There is a lot to do. It's because I'm doing a couple things differently this time. So we'll see how that goes. But
Definitely.
that's all
very good luck to you.
internal. Thank you. Yeah, I always try to up the game a little bit. I mean, yeah, I've been doing this for, over 10 years, but, the platform changes, things change, and you always want to tweak and up your game a little bit every time. So that's what I try to do.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Anyway,
You do
thank you guys.
succeed.
Thank you. And thank you so much once again for having me on the show. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
All right.
Yep. Great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Madeleine.
Yep.
Good to talk to you again.
Thank you.
Yep.
And we'll be right back. And we are back, and it's time for Geek News for You. In this segment, we bring a couple of news items to the table for discussion. And this week, it is Mikey and myself. Mikey, would you like to go first?
Oh, sure. I grabbed an article off the Discord because that's what I usually do because I'm lazy. And also, I don't really go looking for news stuff by myself. So, but this is an interesting thing. I saw it at first, and it's a clickbaity title. I will give you that. And so I was like, okay, I'm curious. The clickbaity title is Comixology Originals creators get good news, ... and bad news. And to be honest, the reason I call it clickbaity is because I don't really see any bad news here. The people who run Comixology, specifically Jeff Bartolomeo, feels like that Comixology is in a pretty good place right now, which might seem weird given the fact that they shut their app down. But I mean, they're just kind of running through the Kindle and doing fine. Apparently, it's like they're more people are reading digital comics than ever before, and so they're doing great. They're excited. They're putting out a lot of fun new stuff. So I guess what you might consider bad news is, and this I'm putting the cart before the horse a little, but not much. So the deal is that Comixology apparently has an exclusive deal with Dark Horse for printing. Because I mean, if something does well enough in digital form, then hey, I mean, people want a print copy, right?
Right.
So they've got up till now they've had an exclusive deal with Dark Horse to print those books. Part of this, I think the bad news part of this is that part of this is expressing a bit of frustration that Dark Horse apparently can't keep up. They are limiting the number of Comixology original books that they're printing. So Comixology is looking for, exploring other print options. So they're going to choose not to be exclusive with Dark Horse because Dark Horse just kind of isn't in a position to print everything they want to print over at Comixology. So they're going to find some new avenues for that, which honestly, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how that's bad news, other than it's if a creator signed on with Comixology because they wanted Dark Horse to print their stuff. I mean, I guess that's sort of bad news because Comixology might get someone else to do it instead. But I mean, I don't know because it's getting printed, right?
Right. That's what I was about to say.
That's
if
a
it
good
gets
thing.
printed, that's it just, if anything, it's a little bit more discouraging, but not bad news.
Right. It's other than, I only think it's discouraging in the sense that, stuff's not going to move as quickly as they want it to.
Well, that's why some people might think that it's discouraging, but
that seems like worst case scenario to me. But they're trying to remedy that,
right?
And they're stating it publicly. I mean, this is on Bleeding Cool, so. I mean, this is essentially a press release to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it sounds positive.
Yeah.
Sounds like Comixology doing well. They're at least saying they are. So, hey, that's better than some of the others can claim.
Well, it would. Maybe it's just me. It would be really nice to see some numbers back that up, because that's just like the streaming services. Oh, this thing did real well. I'm like, okay, right. I guess we'll just take your word for it.
Yeah, show us what that means, right? Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. This is short on evidence.
Yep.
To not get too true crimey on it, but
right.
They're saying they're doing great, but that we don't really know what that means exactly. They're not really telling. They at least didn't tell Rich Johnston what that means.
Right.
He ran with it anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, if his plan was to make it sound positive, he did great.
Yep.
I like having comic books on my Kindle. The only thing that scares me about investing too much in it is kind of like what we're seeing with the video games right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really mine? Or one day are you just going to delete my whole library, and tell me, oh, it was only yours for that time. You paid for a time period and not for the title. To where with a floppy, it's mine. It's mine.
Until they come take it from you, yes.
Yeah. So I wish they'd give us some kind of reassurance, like maybe a way to back up what we have there. But I haven't bought too many pricier titles. But they constantly run free comics. I mean, you can go on there right now and at least find 50 that are free. So they do get people interested that way. And I don't mind losing a free comic, but,
Yeah.
So there's a few bugs to iron out, but I like it. I can see where people are going for convenience.
If only we could record this and send it to past Liz.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm still saying I like my biggest part, like 90% of my, well, I won't say 90%. The first thing I do when I read a book is I have to smell it. There's just something about that smell that you will never get from a tablet, hopefully. Unless you throw water on it or something. I don't know. But I will always prefer the physical touch than. But when I'm out at the farm, I'd rather leave my good comics here and take my tablet.
Oh, the smell thing.
Yeah. I love the smell of books.
Ooh, that smell.
Looks like she picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's partly the glue holding it together.
Guarantee you part of it is the glue.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's the ink. Some of it's the paper itself,
All righty. Deadline ran an article. It's kind of a partial interview with Miramax TV boss Mark Helwig, and he talks about several different shows, and one of them is kind of an update on the Halloween TV series. So that's why I was bringing it up, because this is actually something we're hearing, something that's something. It's not. It's not. Oh, this guy had an idea. Well, when did he have the idea? Did he press? We talked about that before. Mm-hmm. In this article, Hillick says that it's on the fast track. It's a priority for them to get it up and going. But the thing that it sounds, the idea has already been set up. He says, and I quote, "The foundation of it is the original film, the John Carpenter movie, the characters of that film, and perhaps a group of characters that we really haven't focused on that much in recent film versions, or even in a number of them. It's a creative reset, completely going back to the original film as opposed to spinning out of any of the more recent film adaptations." Now, I read that, and I started kind of thinking what they could possibly do. And I kind of thought about them doing something similar to Bates Motel. If you remember, that series basically was several years just prior toward the events of Psycho. And then things kind of led up to that. And I was like, well, that could be something they could do. I thought, well, what they could possibly do is maybe start after the events of Michael killing his sister. And I started thinking more and more about this. I started kind of questioning what causes a town. I mean, yes, that's a shocking event, an 8-year-old boy killing his older sister. But what causes a town to automatically call him the boogeyman, give him the title of the boogeyman, and then build this lore off of all of that? That's something they can look into. That's something they can kind of go into, right?
Yeah.
Y'all see where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. Just it seems a little extreme. Even the event is extreme. I grant you that. But to basically base a whole concept of this kid being the boogeyman, and that he's gonna come at any time. So it's almost like they were kind of prepared, but it was almost like they obviously weren't. But kind of deal with that a little bit, and they talked about using characters that maybe they've not really dealt with a lot. And I kind of quickly, obviously the teenagers from the first film, they can actually explore them a little bit. But it depends on how, I guess it's going to really depend on the timeline. But I thought about if they actually kind of do a season like maybe 1964, and then the next season's like 1969, so it's 5 years later. So we're kind of chopping down that 15 years to where maybe if the series, or at least this complete story arc, comes to an end, it can lead up to the movie, or maybe do some variation of the movie in the series as the end of this story arc. But I thought maybe a secondary story of Dr. Loomis, I mean, it's kind of addressed a little bit in the zombie remakes, but not really well. But the whole thing of him going from him being a psychiatrist dealing with this boy, trying to help him. What was that point where he realized there's no help for him? I got to make sure he never leaves here because he is evil.
Right. Because that's a leap.
That's a pretty freaking big leap.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see the path to that leap for sure.
It doesn't have to be the main story. It can be if they want to, but that is definitely a storyline they can address.
Yep.
And I would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's some people out there who want a Halloween series where basically Michael kills everybody every episode, including the guy I used to follow on YouTube that I don't follow anymore because I thought he's a dumbass. But he's wanting that. And I'm like, that's not interesting.
Right.
That is not interesting. This is more interesting. You know, if you want to see Michael kill somebody or kill a bunch of people, you got 12 freaking movies of it. Let's explore things. Let's explore the urban legend. Let's explore, let's explore some of this. That was one of the things I was kind of hoping for with Halloween Ends, where they were they were wanting to address the PTSD of these attacks. How does the town really respond to all these attacks? They kind of did it in a little bit, but that could be so much more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How does a town respond? How does a town respond to an 8-year-old killing his sister? An 8-year-old that nobody thought anything about, we assume. He was just a nondescript kid until he commits a murder on Halloween night, and somehow he becomes the boogeyman. So, we'll see. But that gives us a little indication of where they're going to go. But there's no really creative team set right now. But that sounds like that's the kind of the plan for the series, and it could be interesting. It depends on which way they go.
Yep, they're making noises that sound interesting at this point, so that's progress.
And that's actually something a little bit more to discuss than, hey, the director of Halloween 4 actually pitched or had an idea for a sequel to Halloween 4.
Right.
that really wasn't newsworthy, even though I talked about it. So,
if they talk with take the story of the teenagers,
mm-hmm.
Are you talking about the teens that were featured in the first movie?
Well, I mean, the first movie and even the second movie. Because that was literally the same night, so you could actually use characters from both films. Just expand on them a little bit and make them. There'll be less cannon fodder when you actually see them die.
Yeah.
And the other thing is if they're trying to stay away from some stuff, Laurie's probably not going to be a big focus on the series, and you know what, Michael may not be either.
Right.
It's kind of like I go back to Jaws. The shark is talked about the entire film, but you rarely see him. But his presence is felt through either the music or the discussions. You could do the same damn thing with Michael.
Right. Michael becomes the shadow over the entire show.
Yes.
Without actually being in the show.
Right.
But there, I'm going to say how. Because if you're talking about how Michael became the myth, that's one thing. If you're talking about to me, the teenagers were prior to the first movie, there is no horror.
But there's still the whole discussion of the boogeyman.
But Michael is considered the boogeyman.
Right. Why?
Why?
That's the question.
But the murders have not happened yet. Is what I'm saying.
Well, but what he's saying is that Michael was already the boogeyman before the murders from the first film.
That's what I was getting at. How did Haddonfield make Michael Myers the boogeyman when all he did was kill one person in 1963, and in 1978 it's the boogeyman. It's the boogeyman's house. You're not supposed to go up there. Horrible things have happened there. How does that happen?
Right. It takes the slasher franchise thing and turns it almost into folk horror, which is kind of an interesting way to start with that, I think. I mean, people might not agree with me, but
no,
because it becomes. I mean, it becomes. There are stories about this. Where did those stories come from? How did those stories develop over time?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a very different kind of story than what we're used to with Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do the Loomis side thing, you're going to have Michael involved in it somehow, but it's going to be Michael as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Michael a kid or early teens, depending on
when Loomis snapped.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And I definitely put air quotes around snapped because that's not necessarily what happened, but
no. So, does that make a little bit more sense, Les?
Some.
Okay.
It's okay if you think we're nuts and don't want to see it.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, we may not get that anyway. That may not be what's coming.
It's
all speculation.
It's all speculation. So, all right. Any special shout-outs this week? Obviously, Madeleine.
Yeah, thanks, Madeleine, for hanging out with us yet again.
Definitely.
It's cool. We always have a good time when she's here.
Always happy to see her.
Yep. Any other special shout-outs?
Nope.
Okay. With that, we'll go on to our regular shout-outs. First off, Pop Goes the Culture Podcast Network. Thank you guys for allowing us to be part of a great group of other fellow podcasts. Check them out. There will be a link in the show notes. We also want you to check out Podern Family on Twitter /X, however you want to call it. These people are kind enough to spread the word of the fellowship by retweeting our links. The best way to do that is to just go on there, do a search, #PodernFamily, all one word, scroll through, whatever catches your eye, click on that link, download the episode. Hope you have a good time listening to them. Want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying music to the podcast. In our show notes, there will be a link to where you can check out some of their other music. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. Any comments, questions, complaints, suggestions, observations, what have you, please send them our way. Email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. If you go to the website and go to the About Us page, there's a contact form you can fill out. I did mention Discord earlier. We do have a channel specifically for feedback, so you can post your thoughts there. Social media, we're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram and Twitter, we are @Fellowship Geeks. If you'd like to follow our personal accounts, Mike can be found @MikeyGeek. Liz can be found @LN_geek. Les may or may not be found @FakeLesWebster. And I can be found @TomTCGeek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you be so kind as to rate and review our show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate the support as always. And until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,